A lot of what you guys said already, so let's break it down a little bit more, because ROCCAT had a lot of good things going for them in the beginning of the game, even for me in the draft. Starting from OG side, they start out by banning Azir on blue side, that says a lot, and Yasuo, which led me to think they would go to different picks that they ended up going to.
Well, if you look at the draft, you can clearly see how ROCCAT is getting a lot of pick potential, a lot of engage. So I think Origen said, you know what, we don't want to run Varus into this, we don't want to risk the amount of engage, always finding the right way to shut us down. Instead, what they did with the last two picks, the Vayne and the Vladimir, it made that comp look very, as Krep was, very greedy, low wave clear coming in, barely any wave clear, honestly. But it was counter picks, because Vayne does really well into like an Alistar, into a Gragas, like into these big tanky front lines, as long as she can dance around and kite out in the open. And Vladimir is a good matchup into the Ahri as well. Again, you turn it into a farm lane, and then you outscale late game, like Peke managed to do after he got shot down though early on. So it wasn't perfect, and this was more on ROCCAT, honestly, than it was on Origen. Yeah,
you look at these two team compositions, they're fairly different when it comes to how you play at Teamfights as well. Origen, you're reliant on barrel positioning, Vayne kiting, just so much mechanical prowess necessary to pull off a composition like that until you get later and later, until Vlad just kind of blows everybody up. The other side of it, ROCCAT running a very engage-heavy comp, as we saw in a couple of fights. You just pop the Sivir ult, you go in with the Ahri, lock people down, should be enough to snowball a game, especially with the lead they had. But unfortunately for ROCCAT, they couldn't hold it.
We did see them try and target out Pekka though in the pick and ban phase. We talked a little bit about how Nukedog could have the upper hand on Pekka. Bans from Origen themselves, Origen, and I almost got tripped because I was looking at the footage here of them talking outside. But then also the early rotation Ahri, which was a bit of a surprise, just to take it away from him, see what else can you play.
So we go into the game. Lane swap happens. And we look at it, we've talked about how Origen have improved their lane swaps, and something that surprised us a little bit was a good adaptation by ROCCAT. I know it was something you were pretty excited about when it came to pass. And, we want to take a look at a replay as well of how ROCCAT reacted to the lane swap that came out in this game.
So basically what happens here is, one thing we need to note is when Origen lane swaps, they very often fast push, and they send Source down so quickly to take down this tower, because 5-10 seconds means a lot. So we can just start rolling it, and we notice how Origen takes down the tower a lot earlier than ROCCAT will. So what it means is that Source can stay in the lane, and he has more time to farm now before someone walks down to the lane. And it also means once we start sending guys up to the top lane, just continue rolling it, we can see the Vayne and the Braum reach that top lane and basically force Steve to back away, because he's going to be on his own. Vander needs to recall to get wards. Rylers need to recall to return to that bottom side, normally to push that one out and stop the gangplank from farming in a frozen lane. So that's why ROCCAT are moving like they are now, and realizing then, oh, he's pushing the wave now. Then here, where we see Soaz, he's going to shove it up because he realizes, well, I can go dive the top lane now. If Steve shows up top, Soaz will TP up there and just kill him 4v1. Easy peasy. So Rylers makes the adaptation. A little bit too late. He already had walked down to the bottom side. But still, he makes the adaptation saying, I have to go top, because Vander can follow me, and then we can defend the tower and not risk this dive happening. Had Steve gone top lane right there, he would have died instantly. He would have been down on like 5 CS and done absolutely nothing all game.
It's very much like Crepo said yesterday. ROCCAT seem to be doing the right things, just in a little bit slow motion.
Yeah, and that is very, very, well, pressing. Or if we look at the rest of that game, let's take a look at the team fight that ROCCAT end up winning around Dragon, which is everything you want. You have a team fighting comp, you can go in there and you can win that, and that was a good decision to make.
Right, this is the difference between the compositions here. You can see Soaz has tried to set up barrels. The problem is he ends up getting dragged further away from his barrels. We can run this fight on, and there's just so many issues here. Vlad's still pushing mid. He's trying to make sure that there's no counter push that comes out after this, but look at how fast Soaz is from everything he set up to begin this fight. They get dragged down. Steve comes into the fight, and from here, Niels is never going to be able to kite this early on. He doesn't have the damage, doesn't have the mobility to stay alive in this fight, and ROCCAT, with a far simpler composition to run in this situation, just get the advantageous fight.
And a lot stronger at this point in the game here on the side of ROCCAT. Not sure why Origen would even look for a potential fight. They probably just want to sneak the dragon and just try and get out of there, but that's not going to happen with so much engage.
Yeah, OG get the dragon, but ROCCAT get that team fight. At that point, after the team fight, ROCCAT is up 3.5k over Origen over the next 10 minutes. Instead of snowballing that lead with the Ahri that got a couple of assists, with the Sivir, they go down to a 1k lead. They lose 2,500 gold, and they get no kills out of the side of ROCCAT, which is exactly what we called them out for yesterday.
Yeah, this is why ROCCAT has been inconsistent all split long, even all year long. Go back to Spring Split, it was somewhat the same. The shot calling is just not always there. They don't really follow the game plan. They don't execute it properly. Right here, you even have your Hecarim building Frozen Heart first item. That's horrible versus Gangplank because he has so much armor penetration to use. You can't one-on-one him at all unless you go like Trinity Force on the Hecarim. So instead, he goes Frozen Heart. That tells to me, okay, he's ready to dive. They have so much engaged. They're ready just to push down 2 lanes at once, dive with the Hecarim and the rest of the team because to run over them, Ari can one-shot a target. What happens? They go back, they sit and say, oh, you know what, Origen, you know, that's a top lane wave you can take. Oh, there's a bot lane wave, take that one as well. Oh, you want to ward the Baron? Yeah, that's okay. We don't really need that Baron anyway. For 10 minutes. And you have so much engaged. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, randomly you find Nukeduck going bot lane when the rest of Origen are top pushing 2 towers.
2 towers.
Yeah, the 2 towers from it would just while ROCCAT were ahead with a comp that wants to snowball off a mid laner that, you know, just looking for a pick. Very strange stuff out of ROCCAT. Great early game adaptations, great early team fights. Very strange slowdown.
Yeah, and even in the end, of course, we mentioned the mechanical prowess of OG coming into this game in the late game team fights. Some things like Mithy on Braum, just so close in so many instances. You were ripping about that.
Mithy is right now trying to challenge Yellowstar as much as possible as the best support in Europe, and he's just showing up. He showed up in the final. He's showing up now. His Braum pick, I mean, it's ban-worthy. He's so good in this champion, and he just blocks so many small skill shots in the fights. People don't like, might even not notice it. Like suddenly a charm flies out, boom, Myth is in there, blocks it, and his 80 carry stays alive. And I mean, I'm even moving around doing the shield movement just because of Mythy right now.
Yeah, well, we learned a lot from that game already in the lane matchups, because earlier we also asked you guys at home which lane matchup you thought would be key to taking this series. And at Bovina Ricardo tweeted, mid lane, totally. If Nukeduck gets a stronger draft, ROCCAT will play around him so well, it will be hard to win for OG. Well, he was pretty fed on Ari at the 20-minute mark. Yeah,
I think he was 0-0-6, got a lot of assists off there, had a Rabadon's death cap as well. They pinched the champion pool of Peke in this game, and he persevered from ROCCAT not pushing. Pinch it even further, force him to you know, get pushed in on that Vladimir. I think Peke could have gone to something like a Twisted Fate if he wanted the extra wave clear, was clearly happy to go, however, for scaling.
But most of all, we're going to have to see if ROCCAT can fix something when it comes to the macro level decision-making outside of the picks. We'll see. We need to take a quick break as ROCCAT look to come back and tie the series at 1 win apiece. We'll be back with Game 2 in just 3.5.
Hello everyone, this is Maurice Dukensteiner. I'll be your what's it called, pilot for this airplane. I welcome you to Expargo Airlines, and I hope you enjoy your stay.
Peke is in so much trouble. He's knocked up, he's charmed. Sanguine's gonna come out and Ghost, but the barrel! That's 1, that's 2 kills. Niels will be the 3rd. It's just a matter of time. He's tumbling, he's ducking, he's diving, he's charmed. Niels is down.
He's dead. I've repelled. I'm gonna die, Never mind, dangerous game. Never mind. Not dangerous. Good job, good job. Push. End the game. Really good. No, we can't end. We can't end. We can end.
And Origen come away 1-0.